Hey, you guys. It's episode 20 of Star Wars Year by Podcast,
Ah,
exclusive to the Steele Wars and Blue Harvest Patreons. I'm Hawes from Blue Harvest, and with me, uh, definitely not laughing in the background, is my good buddy Steele Saunders.
oh, Hawes, that was cruel. You said you were going to do the intro, so I was like, alrighty, coffee sipping time. And then you hit me with a "Hey, you guys," and I just I didn't know what to. I was deciding what to do with the sip of coffee I just had. My mind was battling with my body over the best scenario. So thank you for that, Hawes. I appreciate that that little tip of the microphone. Welcome back to our podcast, Star Wars Year by Podcast. Now, Hawes,
Yes, sir.
I've got something pressing I've got to talk to you about, but
Okay.
we'll get through the pleasantries. Episode 20, Hawes.
Mm-hmm.
We made it.
I know, and I think by maybe like episode 40, we might finally be able to talk about Shadows of the Empire.
Ooh, don't make me go forward and see if that is true. I can't just the Hasbro figure reveal.
Oh my God.
Dash render, that gun that folded over. Bill Burr owes so much to Dash render. Unsung
He
hero
does.
of the rebellion.
Well, it depends on what circles you travel in, I guess, how unsung he is. Here, we sing the praises of Dash Rendar and Snufa.
Dash Render played him on a video game. Bum, 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 bum. How'd that
So-
one go?
That was pretty good.
Okay. Just the awkward cough didn't give me much confidence.
Oh, buddy, I'm going to be honest with you and the listeners right now. I'm a tiny
Finally.
tiny bit distracted because I'm getting catfished on Instagram as we speak.
Put your phone down.
Okay, done.
You're so rattled by this that me suggesting putting your phone down seemed like, oh, that's something I hadn't even conceived doing.
Yeah, man. That's how it goes, I guess.
Just, you don't have to reply anymore.
Okay. I feel you've freed me of this burden.
Everyone, Hawes, he's worried. He doesn't want to, like, he knows, like, this account is fake. But he still wants to be pleasant. Like, he doesn't want to be rude.
Well, I'm trying to be weird enough to, like, scare them away.
Have you ever had catfish?
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time. Dude, catfish is a mainstay of the Mississippi and Alabama diet.
Oh, man. My opinion of you has just totally changed. Altered forever.
In a bad way or in a good way?
Negative.
Really?
Here's the deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love cats.
Right.
I have never seen a catfish.
Okay.
So what a catfish looks like, I assume, is far less cute and cat-like than what I've imagined.
It definitely is.
So, you have to understand that with that image in my head, the thought of someone that would be savage enough to eat such a beautiful creature, it's a bit unnerving.
Well, if it looked like my cat Walter, if catfish looked like, an actual cat, I wouldn't be partaking.
Well, see, I haven't cared to do that sort of research.
Let's see. Well, just imagine a fish
Monster.
with
You're a
whiskers.
Nah, I just imagine that you're a monster. Let's play it safe.
Well, I don't know that I like that approach.
Oh, well. What are you going to do? What does it taste? What's it like?
Catfish. I like it because it's not super fishy tasting, and typically the way you have it around here is at a
Do
fish
you know why
fry.
it's not super fishy tasting?
Because it's a cat.
You're getting that cat tang.
The way it's prepared here is it's fried, so it's super crispy.
Meow! Meow!
Come on, man, you're gonna ruin something I actually kind of enjoy.
Well, it's the year for it.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
Catfish. You monster.
Oh man,
I
I guess they don't have catfish over in Australia, huh?
They probably do.
No, really?
Yeah. I pride myself in not knowing about the things I don't want to know about.
Fair enough.
Like I'm so happy that I don't. It's just like there's only so many things that you can remember. So
Yeah.
I want to know, what like bit of plastic fake weapon went with a toy from 1979.
Oh, dude, I need your help with something related to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was straightening up the other day, and I found a vintage.
It's about
Star Wars.
time, Hawes.
Well, I found a vintage.
Me and your
Star
mother
Wars gun.
have been telling you to straighten out for years. Did you shave?
I found a. No, of course not.
All right, keep going.
So I found a vintage Star Wars gun, and for the life of me, I can't figure out which of my figures it goes with. I know it's a Han Solo gun, but I can't figure out if it's trench coat Han Solo from Return of the Jedi, or Hoth Han Solo, or Big Head Han from A New Hope.
Well, I have got shocking news for you right there.
Okay.
I've got no idea.
Oh, well, you were just claiming to know which weapon went with which bit of plastic from the 1970s.
No, but this is the thing. It's a Han Solo gun. Like, if I don't know which one, then it doesn't matter to me. I enjoy, like, I don't feel like I'm going to get, like, how much more enjoyment am I going to get out of my vintage figures if the same gun in a slightly different shade is with the wrong figure? If I don't know which one, I can't be bothered
ignorance
about
is bliss.
it. Yeah. And I don't
Okay.
feel like the extra, like, I just don't feel like I'm going to get any real tangible extra joy out of these toys knowing that. So, why bother?
Fair enough.
I feel like the last 3 minutes I've just explained my entire psyche.
I think we got a real look into the mind of Steele Saunders.
Waste not, want not. So, Hawes, episode
Yes.
20. And for those that are new to the podcast, this is normally a Patreon exclusive podcast for the Blue Harvest and Steele Wars Patreon bonus content type deals. $3 will get you that for the month, as well as all our back episodes, to which there are many different ones, hundreds on each feed. We only share this show, which it is such a powerful bit of content. We needed 2 podcast Patreons.
Yeah,
to
contain it.
Imagine how powerful does that make King Tom, though?
Oh my. Maybe the most powerful man in Star Wars podcasting. He just doesn't know it yet.
Man, imagine if you were like, and, this is not unimaginable because he is a great Star Wars thinker. But someone that listens to Star Wars podcasts their favorite person on a Star Wars podcast is King Tom. So they need to hear all the King Tom content. Do you know what I mean? They're a completionist. They're the
King
sand
Tom
suite of King Tom audio. That'd be forking up like $15 a month or something. He's
man.
Everyone's Patreon.
It's like trying to stay up on the Black Series.
Paper Chansky. I feel like that's his new nickname.
I think we can make this happen, buddy.
Very hard to say.
Paper Chansky. Yeah, that's going to be... We'll get used to it, though. You know,
Will we?
It'll. I think so.
Okay. All right.
I like to get behind a good idea.
Yes. The conceit of this is we are going through Star Wars history while reading the Star Wars Year by Year, a visual history updated and expanded edition, which, we've got to give a shout out to our neens, our sickos out there that get their book out and read along. We love them. We need them.
The best.
But we also will have this one up on the Steele Wars YouTube. And Hawes, as the person that does edit these videos, as sad as this is to admit, for someone that cherishes content sizzle as much as I. But apparently, these enhanced versions, it's Star Wars podcasting's best kept secret.
Oh, really?
Tracy Moon complained to me. How come you never said these? He listens to every episode. Oh, how come you didn't say you edited them like this? It's actually entertaining to watch along. There's other things in there.
Oh, man. The one you did about Carl. Oh, my goodness.
Carl. Well, I had to do Carl justice.
Yeah. Buddy, I didn't know if it could be done, but you did it. You pulled it off.
Can you hear that mower?
No, I cannot.
Okay, that's excellent. I actually think it's a leaf blower, not a lawn mower.
How is it that every time we record this, somebody does landscaping outside of your apartment?
It's a very well-kept neighborhood.
Ah, well, that's nice.
So, yes, we are up to page 100 for if Catherine Neen is currently... There's no way she's open. She has it open before she presses play, I feel like. Very organized.
Oh, she knows where we left off. She's probably got like a nice Cassian bookmark in her book.
Oh.
And she's like, next time, I know where we're picking up. Page 100.
It's all in the details, Hawes.
Yeah, I like to summon a mental image.
Well, Catherine Neen, our buddy in Melbourne, Australia, one of the biggest Cassian fans there could be. Either she's got a Cassian bookmark, or she's going to tweet us that she's currently on eBay searching for a Cassian bookmark. And probably feels bad to the Cassian fandom that she hadn't even, conceived of such a product.
Oh, that's got it. Well, are bookmarks... I remember in the 90s, bookmarks being a thing. Like, you go to the bookstore, and there'd be, like, a standee that just had dozens of bookmarks on it. I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
Do you know why?
Because people don't read real books anymore?
That is only part of it. You're not looking deep enough. The truth is out there, Hawes. In the 90s, bookmarks are huge. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no internet.
Oh.
There's nothing else to do. Where you are in that book, that is so important to your life. Now it's just like, oh, I can't remember. Oh, I'll just watch Netflix, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a sign of the times. Back when bookmarks were king.
Man, imagine all the bookmark businesses that are no longer around.
You've got to pivot. Hey, can you hear that? What is that? Can you hear that scraping noise?
Now I hear, it sounds like a sweeping almost.
Yeah, is that? Let's stop now. I think maybe someone's just outside sweeping. God, it was annoying me. Oh, they're doing it again.
Yeah, I can hear it this time again.
Yeah, it's on my side because I just turned off my mic and it stopped. And the thing is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't put my head out the window and go, "Hey, can you stop sweeping?"
Can you please stop making outside of my residence look nice?
Oh, it's tempting though. If only they knew. If only they knew. Now, Hawes, we are making sure this one's up for this weekend as part of, just to add a little bit of extra Star Warsiness to what would have been Star Wars Celebration weekend.
Oh, man.
When we finally get to, in episode 412, in the expanded, updated, again and again publication of Star Wars Year by Year, as we go through the celebrations, what's the also in that?
For 2020's celebration?
Just no. For all the celebrations that you've been a part of either online or in person. What's the one where you're like, oh, this is my moment in time?
Okay, so I've only been to two, right? I've been to 2017 and 2019. And I feel like the also ends are usually some type of merch, right? It seems like.
Hawes, I knew you'd go there.
Well, you know I love buying Star Wars stuff.
No, but as soon as I said the also in, I regretted it because I'm like, well, this is something they'd have a definitive date on.
Right.
Because a lot of the also ins are also vague.
Right.
So I knew you rightly called me out. I should know this stuff by now.
So, like for Celebration Orlando, what was the big exclusive? Okay, so maybe also in 2017, Hasbro announces the 40th anniversary Black Series collection and releases TIE Fighter Luke as a celebration, or not TIE Fighter, X-Wing Luke as a celebration exclusive. And have a nice picture of that X-Wing Luke Skywalker on the foil card.
That was a nice piece.
It was.
Did you ever have a George Shakul, or whatever his name was?
No, I've come close to buying one of those a couple of times. Because there's a couple of different George Lucas figures that they did over the years. They did the one of him as the X-Wing pilot. They did one of his character from Revenge of the Sith.
Baron von Rebo.
And I feel like maybe there's one other that they did.
Did you say Stormtrooper Disguise?
Stormtrooper Disguise, that's it.
They all sort of just passed me by, those other ones. The George Shakul, or whatever his name was. What was it, Lorge? It'll be on the YouTube screen. It'll be part of the the things that Tracy Moon is like, oh, you find out so much here. I got him. I didn't go to that celebration. But I did buy it from an unscrupulous scalper.
Oh, boy.
Do you know what's weird? I was thinking about this the other day. In Star Wars, people that resell stuff are like very frowned upon. But in streetwear and sneakers, they are lauded.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, huh?
Like, there are stores that's all they do. And people love them. They buy that store's t-shirt from, hey, I love shop down the street that charges me 4 times of, what the retail was on a pair of Jordans. Word. Very strange.
Yeah,
imagine a Star Wars scalper coming out with a range of t-shirts.
I kind of feel like maybe that has happened. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like there might be some reseller Facebook groups and stuff that have their own merch out there.
God, we need sound effects. That would have been a great, like, shots fired sort of. Love it.
Hey, man, you let me know, and I'll hook up my little soundboard.
Oh,
I will annoy the hell out of you.
I'm admittedly far less enthusiastic at the thought of that. I feel like it couldn't, but I also feel like it's something that if I was doing it in an annoying way, I would find it funny, thus forgivable. But anyone else doing it would be intolerable. Another look into the boy behind the man. But I ended up selling that George Shakur or whatever it was called. Why do I keep saying this? Because I just wasn't attached to it, really. Because I wasn't there to get the item.
Yeah, there's something about actually going and scoring the exclusive item if you're lucky enough to get your hands on them at Celebration. Like, I don't know how interested I would have been or how insistent I would have been on getting the Darth Maul and Obi-Wan from last year on the vintage Phantom Menace cards had I not been at Celebration.
Well, yeah, because I go the other way. I buy about event. So if I go to Celebration, I'm like, I have to buy an exclusive to remember this by. And then I pick my favorite one. Rather than you being a Black Series collector going, I'm going to go buy the Black Series exclusive.
Oh, speaking of this, did you see, like, literally as we were setting up and getting ready to record, they announced when the 2020 Celebration exclusives go on sale and showed some of them off?
What stuff?
So the one I saw that you might be interested in, because I know you love a good plush item.
Should I go to Yak Face?
Yak Face or StarWars.com has an article right now.
Yak Face.
The one I think I'm torn because there's 2 plush items. I don't know which one you would enjoy more. I have a thought, but there's a stuffed Tauntaun that has a little frozen Luke Skywalker that you can take in and out of its belly.
Really? All right, I'm going to StarWars.com because I went to Yak Face and he's just going on about this. It's all Ahsoka Hot Toys.
Yeah, and Cad Bane.
Oh, what's this? The Star Wars show. This month from the Star Wars show, a celebration of Star Wars Celebration. That's cool. All right, so how do I get to the exclusives? Ah, okay. Celebration exclusives revealed. Oof. Oh, man, that's cool.
The Tauntaun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that would be up your alley. I like it quite a bit.
Oh.
And then we got the Geeky Tiki's AT-AT Punch Bowl. I know a lot of people that are into those Geeky Tikis.
Blondie has like 100 of them.
Oh, really?
Oh, all over the shop. She just got like on her Instagram, she posted, she just was, had just busted out a baby Yoda, a Yoju, if you will, one.
Is it tiny compared to the other ones?
I don't think it is.
Okay.
I don't think that sells tikis, to be honest. I think everything they don't want to be scaled. They want as big as possible.
Last year at Celebration, they did the Rancor Tiki with a tiny Luke Skywalker shot glass size tiki.
Ah, okay. Right.
that was pretty neat.
All right, so that's a punch bowl. Oh my god, that's giving me a hangover. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back 40th Anniversary Millennium Falcon Cockpit Sunshade. That's a sort of Star Wars product that is no buys in my neck of the woods.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just move along then. Then they got lunch boxes. Or I guess this is not two different ones. It's just the two different sides of the same one.
And what they've done is they've had an artist sort of redraw sort of images that were on, I think they were on old metal lunchboxes. It looks like that guy Pasquale or whatever his name is.
Mike Pasquale?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be. The coloring looks very similar to his art style.
Then the Minox Suction Cup plush.
Mm-hmm.
That's... I think this... Yeah, I could, if you had that suctioned up at the top of your... in the corner of your room or something, that's pretty cool.
BB-8 avocado shirt.
Any comment, Hawes?
Not for me. I don't like avocado.
Neither do I, but no fruit would be getting any buys. That is such the opposite end
Of what I'm interested? Yeah.
Oh, this next one's looking... I don't mind it. It's a bit bold for me, but I'm sure...
The jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all right on that one, but it's not for me. Ringer t-shirt. Can't do a Ringer t-shirt.
Me neither.
I don't think I'm wearing... Okay, what are logos? Hats? Pins?
Now, the pins. If I can get through to the store, I'll be getting some of the pins.
Ah, you're into the pins.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Not the one thing. That's one thing that, like, at the previous two celebrations that we've been able to go to, that Jesse has had interest in, and then I like them too. So it's like one of those things that, like, we have a mutual interest in.
That's delightful. I like that there's pin sets, everyone. Sets of 3 in themes. There's an Empire Strikes Back one, a Rise of Skywalker one, a Mandalorian one, and then there's t-shirts of the 3 pins. And I like that artwork, but it's so big on the...
It's too big on the t-shirt, man.
It just looks like just the sweat patch that would surround that thing.
Yeah, and like I like the
plasticine.
artwork, and I really like the color of the shirt for the one for the Mandalorian, but the graphic is a little too big for me.
Hawes is going through a real dark green kick. This is the 3rd time he's brought up this color to me in a week.
Buddy, it's my favorite color in general, and like, yeah, it's so like, it's a kick that's been going on for 35 years.
Okay.
And then I look at it, like I zoom in and look at the shirt, and I'm a little afraid that it's the material of t-shirt that I can't stand. Like, I was real bummed last year, because you remember last year they had all the different badge arts on t-shirts, and they had a really neat looking version that had the Mandalorian badge art on it. And I was like, well, I got to get a Mandalorian shirt. Super excited for that show. And then we got into the shop at Celebration, and it was that soft, stretchy t-shirt material. I call them a sausage shirt because I feel like I'm a sausage when I'm wearing them. And I have a feeling these shirts are the same material.
No bit of clothing should make you feel like a sausage.
Yeah, man.
With, of course, if it's a sausage costume, if that's, that's what you're into, and we're not here to judge.
Man, that Babu Frick pin and image is pretty cool looking.
I like the Babu. But like, I get it. Actually, I don't get it. Depends. What's going through my head right now, Hawes, is this. Who's buying a t-shirt with a giant Star Wars Celebration Anaheim 2020 logo on it?
Yeah, it's kind of just a bummer, right? I mean, I realize that this stuff was probably already produced,
No,
right?
no, but that's what like, the show's been cancelled for like 2.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
How early did they print them?
I mean, that's a good question, because, I mean, what would you imagine? Like, you're a guy who has worked...
Unless they're printed in China and they had to do them so far in advance because they'd have to sea freight them.
Right. That's my question is, what do you think the volume is on these shirts? Specifically the shirts. Because you're a guy who's done some shirt printing and stuff. Like, what do you think? I don't understand. I don't know the math behind it. So do you print 1,000? Is that too little?
All I know
1,000 of each size? Like,
all I know is, Hawes, is if you like one of these t-shirts, hold out for the Black Friday sale.
Oh yeah.
Because how many they've printed is white. Like, there's like the amount of people, like, a lot more people want a t-shirt for an event they go to rather than was cancelled and they couldn't go to.
Yeah. Now, I will be honest. If there was let's say an art print or something that had the key artwork from Celebration 2020 Anaheim, I would be more likely to buy that as sort of like a piece of collection history. Like, oh, this is the celebration that never happened, than I would a shirt.
You could customize it and like stencil over it, cancelled.
Yeah. It's kind of like the modern day Revenge of the Jedi poster.
Ooh, that's quite a bow. You're pulling back there, Hawkeye. So, breaking news. But as I was saying, the that 40th anniversary, that was good. That was like reading this book in real life. That was like a live action Star Wars year by year.
See, I almost feel like that would get its own, not even an also in, it would get its own dedicated section in the book, though, because of how good it was, you know? Like, man, that's the one celebration regret I have thus far, was not standing in line for that panel.
I wished I got another serve of that fried chicken in Chicago before I left.
Oh, the fried chicken you literally called me about as I was pulling into Chicago last year?
Dude.
You had to tell somebody.
Oh. And at the bottom was a little bit of bread. Amazing. Amazing. All right, Hawes. I do have some follow up about our lost episode, but I'll save that for the end because we've got to get to this.
Wait to hear it.
Page 100. Down the bottom, the little cryon sort of news ticker. The Weather Channel launches in the US. So,
hey,
congratulations! It was a huge day for weather. Proud day for weather everywhere. May 1982. Whew. Double feature. Could you imagine?
oh,
British theatres feature a double bill of Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. The re-release poster combines elements from Tom Chantrell's Star Wars poster and Tom Jung's Empire poster. Now, that is interesting, straight up. We'll get to the other implications of this news item. Because they do fit together amazing. I never knew that these were done by separate people.
Yeah, me neither. They did a really good job of merging them. And in the caption, like in the caption below the picture, it says that it was a double bill quad poster. So does that mean it was 4 times the size of a standard movie poster?
No, that's like English terms.
Oh, okay.
So it's quad of some other smaller English poster.
Because I was about to say, a standard movie poster is pretty big as it is. That's a gigantic poster if it's 4 times the size.
Now, for those foregoing the convenience and entertainment value of the YouTube version, not judging, the poster we're looking at is probably better known as the as covering the original trilogy, and it's like a British landscape, so a poster on its side with the 3, and it's like see them all together on the big screen. One of my favorite posters of all time. And this is just the first 2, and it is I sort of thought they were all done at once for that. Like, seeing this with just the 2 on it is quite jarring to me. I never knew this. This book is very educational.
I like Darth Vader's sassy legs stepping out of the frame.
He does look like an attractive lady hitchhiking in the 80s. It's like I've only ever seen that depicted in movies and television. Apparently it works super well back then. So he's definitely getting a lift. Maybe it's when his TIE fighter's spinning out of control. He needs a ride. Oh. No Death Star.
Yeah, he crashed somewhere on Yavin.
Terrible. Biggs picks him up. Oh, no, Biggs. Sorry, everyone.
I don't know, man. Marvel Comics could do something like that if they wanted to.
They sure could. They have proven time and time again. If they want to do something,
they're going to do it.
They'll do it. Now, this situation, take yourself back, Hawes. 1982. You were born a bit earlier.
Born a year later.
No. This is for my little Imagineering.
Oh, okay.
In this scenario, it's also not actually 1982, so work with me. It's 1982. You say 15.
Okay.
Loved Star Wars. Loved it. Empire Strikes Back. Took it to new levels. But left you with a cliffhanger. You know from reading Starlog magazine that Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Jedi perhaps, is in production. And the cliffhangers left at the end of The Empire Strikes Back will be answered. You open the newspaper and you see that the first 2 films are going to be shown to get you amped up to analyze. Maybe you can solve the puzzle of Return of the Jedi before it comes out. Go down to the comic book shop. Tell all the boys. And the girls. Pardon me. You're left speechless by this.
Oh, I'm just getting in the mindset. I'm sitting here with my eyes closed, just imagining.
It would be the best thing ever.
Oh, dude. Let me ask you something. It's related to this. Did any of the Star Wars marathons that they've done in recent years have, like, did you have any bit of like, man, that would be cool?
No.
Really?
It grossed me out. It actually irritated me. Because you're talking about the ones before a new film premiered, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You only get to see a Star Wars movie for the first time once.
Right. And you would be exhausted by the time.
You have got to be in peak physical, emotional levels to fully enjoy the experience. Can't be walking around outside not knowing what day it is in between films.
I totally agree. They didn't really entice me all that much. Granted, I don't know that anywhere around us was doing them anyway, but yeah, like it just seemed like that's a lot of movie to watch before you're about to watch a brand new Star Wars movie.
I went down to Mann's Chinese Theatre and protested. Think about what you're doing. But I actually did go down there for and say hi to all the people waiting for the film.
You
on
should
the day
have
I saw the film.
You should have had lunch at Hamburger Hamlet
It's not there.
across the street and been like, I think this one's going to be a success.
Devastated. So yeah, that poster rules, and that scenario is the best. It is it's strange, and I know people watch these films a lot more different now because you can just click a button, pop a pill, and you're watching your new Star Wars film. But you'd think they would have made a couple of bucks off doing, The Force Awakens before The Last Jedi came out, and then a sweet double bill.
Mm-hmm.
It's... Yeah, I don't really know. I always try to work out, like, what could be the reason. Like, is it going to take heat around the main film coming out? But I sort of feel like the fans that it would attract, they've got a lot of heat to burn.
Yeah. Now, see, that would be way more appealing, right?
And also, it's probably best. This is very cold, cynical corporate thinking. It's probably also best to try get some money out of them before they see the new film. Because you never know if they're going to like it or not.
Right. Right.
So you're saying definitely far more appealing.
Oh, if I could have gone to see The Force Awakens and then The Last Jedi, absolutely. And then The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and then Rise of Skywalker, totally.
What about this?
Mm-hmm.
Last year. Maybe in the summer movie tradition. Have it in May. On Star Wars Day. This thing writes itself. Oh. Force Awakens. The Last Jedi. The Rise of Skywalker. Just a little mini featurette. A little bit of sizzle. A little bit of sugar afterwards.
Yeah, like a sneak peek beside, even a making of or something would be kind of cool. Like those ones they were doing at Comic-Con and stuff.
Hell yeah.
I'm of the opinion that they should have, 8 months out from The Rise of Skywalker, released them one movie a month for like a limited so like in April,
One
The
a
Phantom
month?
Menace comes. Yeah.
You Killing me.
And then the year caps off with episode 9. Like, man, I think that would have made them some cash, and I definitely would have found my way to see each of the movies in the theater one more time leading up to episode 9.
And an extra minute of the featurette with each film. And then you finally, at the end, you've collected the entire 8-minute behind the scenes.
It's like a Build-A-Figure.
Just trying to think of ways for you to have more money. And it's baffling. But I would love to find out the reason why they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, because clearly, like, it's something that had to have been brought up at some point as a possibility. There's no way it wasn't, I feel. And maybe it has something to do with, Disney having such a large slate of movies that they typically release throughout the year. But you can't imagine that, say, a re-release of The Phantom Menace would really compete too much with the latest Marvel movie, right? I think you would get people to go see both.
Or people like me that rarely goes to the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
I would go in for each one because it's like I have to collect them all. This is the whole thing. Collect them all. What? You didn't go to every film in the last year?
And just
if you got a poster and they all joined together, the tickets.
You took the words out of my mouth. Like some sort of collectible item, be it collectible ticket stubs that link together in one big image, or movie specific cups or popcorn tins. Like, I'm a sucker for a opening night of Star Wars collectible popcorn tin and cup. Like, you should see the eye rolls I get from Jesse when we get into the lobby, and I'm like, well, I got to go stand in line at concession because I got to get the popcorn tin and the cup.
See, I go the other way. I like a lot of that stuff. It has to be very good. # good use of the license for me to parlay the money. Like some of the ones they have at Disneyland, like there was like a lunchbox that was like a block of carbonite.
Mm-hmm.
Gold. Good uses of the license. Very creative. But quite often when we go, Jackie's like, oh, do you want the cup? And I'm like, oh, man. She's like, oh, really? So this is far worse than all the other crap that you've got at home. Now you're getting all judgy. And I'm like, yes, I am.
Buddy, not me, man. You know what happened was that got me with The Force Awakens, right? I got the cup. It's a lenticular cup of the Millennium Falcon flying from that very first trailer. The teaser that came out on Black Friday.
I'm aware of
it. They got me with that. And then the popcorn bucket, because I'm at peak Star Wars purchasing fever in December of 2015. You know what I mean? So I get that. And then, well, I can't just have one cup and popcorn tin from the movie. I got to complete the trilogy at least. Well, there's 2 years in between trilogy entries, so I might as well get the Rogue One popcorn tin and cup.
If you don't.
I might as well get the Solo popcorn tin and cup. So yeah, they got me. Like, all it took was that first one to get its hooks in me, and now I've got 5 popcorn buckets and 5 giant plastic cups.
I can't remember what it was, but I feel like when we went and saw Solo, that there was some really big thing.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, what was it?
It was a poster.
No. It was like a big cup or popcorn holder or...
Oh, okay.
And I saw it. I can't remember what it was, though. But anyway, whatever it was, I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm getting that. And it turned out it was like $36 or something. I was like, whoa.
Dude.
Whoa.
So, okay, we go see Rise of Skywalker opening night, right? And I get my I get my popcorn tin and I get my cup. The standard metal tin, big plastic cup. I'm set. Afterwards, we're all hanging out in front of the theater talking about the movie, and I look inside and somebody's carrying an R2D2 that is the size of an infant. It's huge.
That is what it was.
And it's the combination popcorn holder and cup in the same thing.
Yep.
And you should have seen the look on my face when I realized that was a thing. And I sent Jesse back in to see how much they were, and they were sold out. So we don't have that one, but I was bereft that I didn't see that when we got our concessions.
Well, aren't we the Capulets and the Montagues on this? Finally, we disagree. Special 20th episode bonus. Screw you, Hawes. I tell you how the theater going experience has changed in the past 5 years. In 2015, during the golden hour of Star Wars, of December, The Force Awakens, breaking records across the world. Do you know what thought was in my head, Hawes Burkhardt?
What's that?
I'm collecting the 3D glasses for every film.
Oh my God. Me too, buddy. And you know how many pair I got? 0.
They didn't keep making them.
They didn't, and none of the theaters here, because it was through a certain theater chain, right? Like maybe Regal or something, were the only ones that carried them, and we did not have that theater chain here.
Because in Australia they were pretty easy to get. I guess I think there's only 2 big chains, and they're quite like it's not regional. They're all they're all mixed together. It's like KFC and McDonald's. We won't. I know when I mention McDonald's, it's a trigger for everyone. Carl, lest we forget. So they were quite easy to get, but yeah, I was just like, I'm getting them. I can't wait. I'm going to have the episode 9 ones. It's going to be fantastic.
You know what I do have? I have a pair of the special 3D glasses from the 3D release of the Phantom Menace that look like Anakin's little goggles on his pod racing helmet.
Oof. Good use of the license.
Yeah.
Hawes, will you take us to May 14th?
I will. Conan. John Milius's Conan the Barbarian, co-written by Oliver Stone, is released, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Earl Jones. When Jones's character Thulsa Doom refers to a character as "my son," the line evokes Darth Vader from Empire.
I can't believe Oliver Stone wrote this.
Right?
From Conan to JFK.
You got to get your start somewhere.
Gosh. So, you think when they're pitching these lines to James L. Jones, you know, then you'll say, "My son," wink. He's like, "Come on, guys, it's a bit tacky."
I don't know. Maybe he was just stoked to actually be in the movie, not just his voice.
He was the king in Coming to America, yes?
Yes.
Oof. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh. Woo! Oh, so we hadn't really... sorry, I looked at the next picture and I was like... My heart was a little flutter. I am very unfamiliar with the Conan film. Hawes, do you...
You've never seen Conan?
I feel like I've seen it, but you know.
Yeah. I've definitely seen them. They're not movies that I would even buy if they were on deep discount on Vudu or something like that. I've seen Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer, I think is what the second one is called. I think I've probably seen them enough for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Had my fill of Conan. I'm more of a Beastmaster guy, if you've ever seen that.
I have not seen the Beastmaster.
You've never seen the Beastmaster? So Beastmaster it's a fantasy movie. I wouldn't say it's, yeah.
You just were 14 for about 4 seconds then.
Oh, man.
You've never seen the Beastmaster?
It's so good in the worst possible way. Beastmasters, it's a fantasy film series. I think there were 3 of them. And he's what the title implies. He's a master of beasts. So he's like a fantasy warrior that roams the land, doing heroic stuff. But he's got
getting a frivolous lawsuit from Lionel Hutz.
He's got a pet panther that follows him around. He's got a hawk. And he's got 2 ferrets, Kodo and Podo. And he can speak to them. But when he speaks to them, he has to emulate their noises. So let's say he wants to send his hawk to go attack somebody. He has to go roar!
This sounds like you telling your friends in primary school about your imaginary uncle.
I know, dude. If I ever won the lottery, I think I'd buy the license to Beastmaster and reboot it.
I thought you were going to say, and become him.
I'm the Beastmaster.
Get on eBay and look up if the Beastmastership's for sale. Buy it now.
$4.
But just looking at him, Arnold in his little Conan undies, leather bound, just gets you yearning for that He-Man movie.
Right. That is what I would have be way more excited for the He-Man movie than I would a Conan reboot, which they did a few years ago that wasn't very good.
Do you think that Star Wars U-Boy podcast, episode 172, we're going, these Power of the Force 2 figures, they're ridiculous. They look like He-Man. And by the way, how good was that He-Man sequel that came out last month?
Oh, Will, I know, it's been a tough road seeing a new He-Man movie. By then, we will definitely have seen one. Hopefully, 2, like you said, a sequel. It's going to happen. Yeah.
May 20th, Hawes. The end of an era. Jedi filming wraps. Photography on Jedi is completed, on schedule, and on budget. Mark 1. With the speeder bike chase seen at ILM in California.
Look at that miniature speeder bike and scout trooper. That is cool.
It's a thing of beauty. Love the speeder bike chase. When you look at that model, can't you hear the noise? I
can.
Why is it? Or is it, I don't know, there's something about the speeder bike chase that's so much realer and more sort of than say when you think of the speeder chase in The Rise of Skywalker, or think of other chases. But it's something about that speeder bike thing where it's so, I don't know if it's the noise or
I think it's the noise, and I think it's how how they go into sort of first person view to show them speeding through the trees and stuff. And they filmed that by a dude walking through the redwoods with a steady cam and then just sped the footage up.
Didn't they go backwards?
They might have.
I think they
You
were
might
walking
be right
back.
about that.
I feel like the footage is played backwards to make it look like it's going forwards.
You might be right about that. But I think something about that gives it this crazy sense of speed because you have a real world setting that you can kind of like place yourself in, so you can tell like how fast they're going and stuff. That makes sense. Like everybody's been to a forest and you can tell they're going really fast through this forest. And there's something real like brutal about how when they kick the scout trooper off of that speeder bike and he hits the tree, like the sound it makes and how he just like hits it and then falls down. Like there is something to that.
I feel like because it's a bad use of words, but worse done, it comes off better because none of us have ever been on something going that fast.
Mm-hmm.
And like the blurriness and lack of detail sort of puts you in this sort of like hyperspace tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And in the ones, the more, even like the pod rays, having it so crisp on the sides, like it's probably visually more realistic, but the old version creates a better illusion. Like viscerally.
Yeah. I can definitely see that.
But that's a sweet model. And no one can take that away. And why would they?
No.
Would you like to hit the comic book scene, Hawes?
Yes. Shira Bree lives May 25th. Star Wars number 63, cover date September. Ships in the Mind Spider.
Listen, these months are getting further apart.
They sure are. The Mind Spider, written
They must
by...
be... Wait. I've got a conspiracy theory. They're not bringing them out every month. They're bringing them out like every 4 weeks or something. And it'll as the year goes on, it'll just get further and further away from the actual month it is.
You might be onto something there because you do occasionally have like a 5-week month, right? Like,
Exactly. There's something going on. I'm smelling a rat.
In The Mind Spider, written by David Michelini and Walt Simonson, and illustrated by Tom Palmer, Luke discovers that Shira Bree, presumed killed in a starfighter crash, was really an Imperial secret agent raised in the palace of Emperor Palpatine. The story includes the very first rendering of the Empire capital and concludes with the revelation that Shira survived the crash.
Leia was right.
Mm-hmm.
Couple episodes back, where were we? October 1981. Star Wars 56. We won't go into the cover date or when it came out. But Luke had a new buddy, seemed a little bit smitten with this Shira Bree, and Princess Leia.
Not stoked.
Not into it one bit. So, in that, the description of this October 1981 comic, we got a hint because it says Shira claims that she joined the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
And that raised our eyebrows. Let's go to a clip. There's no clip. Don't worry, guys. So there you go. Great visuals.
Somebody needs to fix the tracking on their VCR on that TV.
Very true. Very true. I hope my Zoom experiences go better than that I've been trying to get right today. But Shira is in some form of Bacta tank here.
Yeah. And Darth Vader is very excited.
But she doesn't... Luke had a thing over his mouth, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
She's just floating mouth agape. Just
Breathing
necking
it in.
that Bacta. Now this is of a different time. Rental video. May 27th. Star Wars A New Hope is released on VHS and Betamax. But 20th Century Fox stipulates all cassettes made available to the public are for rental only until September 1st, when they can be sold for around $80. KG retailers offer the Star Wars cassette as a lifetime rental and charge customers up to $120 to keep the video at home indefinitely. Star Wars quickly becomes the first video to earn more than $1 million in rentals. Jack Valenti, the president of the Motion Picture Association of America, tells Congress that video cassette recorders will devastate the movie industry.
Yeah, that didn't really pan out, huh?
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's go back to this 14-year-old 1982 Hawes. Are you ponying up the $120 to get yourself one of those lifetime rentals?
Buddy, I probably would, considering there's been times, like, they probably could have sucked me into paying $120 to watch The Force Awakens at home early. So, yeah, probably.
Well,
you know what we got to do real quickly, though?
Sorry?
We real quickly got to see how much that would be in today's money.
Oh, yes, please. I was, while you do that, I was going to say, as someone that once paid $999 for a video player that would play the American version of the VHS of Star Wars, which had bonus something,
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely be handing over $120 for my lifetime rental.
$322.
Say again?
$322.
Oof.
That's rough.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't pay that much for my entire Saga 4K box set that I bought a few months back.
How is that?
Awesome.
Are the extras exactly the same as the Blu-ray?
So I haven't dug into all of the bonus material discs yet. But from what I saw, there's not a whole lot of difference. What I think it is sort of a combination of like the DVD release, the Blu-ray release with some new stuff.
Really?
I think so. I don't know that Empire of Dreams is on there. That's something I need to look into. Because that was, on the DVD release, but not on the Blu-ray release.
Man, I watched that a lot.
Me too.
Oof. Great stuff. Wow, 300 plus, man. That's oof. That's something. But I love the whole thing about the retailers working out this $120 lifetime rental.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
That is the most Michael Pappas thing I've ever heard.
I love it. But, this will happen time and time again as you follow pop culture. As new technology comes in, it's going to ruin the previous industry. Whether it's TV against the movies,
Mm-hmm.
why would anyone go? And then video, and then you had like Napster and all that sort of stuff.
MP3 players.
and you gotta pivot. You gotta pivot to the new conditions, and not just in like I know just like with clothing brands and stuff like that. It's I've got my shop in Australia, and it's a constant battle to not think how you thought 10 years ago.
Right.
Because you're not like, you didn't come up in that period of when that was emerging. So you were sort of like, like I know a lot about Twitter. Not so much about maybe like Instagram or something like that. But it's sort of, I like the way with, like, I feel like how, like, Star Wars and Lucasfilm sort of interacts with the public and the fans and the release of information and the internet. I feel like in that sort of area, they haven't pivoted that well to work out the best way to make money given the circumstances of the world. I don't mean like this year, but just the way technology and social media, and it's sort of like they're not clicking with it the right way. I know the other day you were talking about the Lost, the in-between season and supplemental material online and that sort of...
Oh, that was King Tom.
Oh, that was King Tom.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him?
Mm-hmm. Those Lost, what they call them, ARGs, alternate reality games or whatever that they did, like, was a really cool way to keep people engaged with Lost in between seasons. Like, you have a 7 or 8 month gap in between seasons of that show. So like, I thought it was a really cool way to keep like the hardcore fan base engaged and looking for clues. And like, I know people even did like Lost book clubs where if there was a book or something that showed up in an episode, they would read it and dissect it in between seasons and stuff.
That's way too much effort. But I'm not judging. But for me, that seems like I don't want to go have to read some old book to enjoy the EU,
right,
as it were. But did you partake in some of these what extended reality, whatever they were that you said they were?
Yeah. Well, you know what I did mostly was read sort of summaries and people's experiences with them, especially with like the books and stuff. I would read people's breakdown and like what they thought was relevant out of the books.
With what you did do, this augmented reality or whatever, in retrospect, was it fulfilling with information? Like, was it sort of like, did it end up having much to do with the upcoming season, or was it sort of just look over here at this? It's like Nicky and Polo's nephew on an adventure.
So it was a little bit of both, but I would say it was more in the realm of it was a nice distraction. You know what I mean? It's not like you came away knowing like exactly where things were headed. Most of the time that's because they were making it up as they went along, So, it was kind of limited in what it could do, but it was a lot of fun, to sort of participate in and just have something to do associated with Lost while it wasn't on air.
Well, I always thought, thinking back, I think I've mentioned this, maybe I've mentioned this on the show before, but before The Force Awakens came out, and there was that mobile app, like Star Wars Regions or
Legacy Star Wars. Tom and I did an episode about it, and I always forget the name of that game. It was not great.
But I thought, this is the new norm. You play this game, and I'm going to find out hints about the First Order, or like there is going to be something very tangible that will, like maybe akin to if they put out those Clone Wars episodes with Saw Gerrera just before Rogue One came out.
Right.
Like, I thought I was going to be, and obviously not. So I sort of agree that that sort of stuff would be great, but I'm very hesitant that, because like in their books and stuff, they find it very hard to coordinate little details with the movies. So would it end up just being more of a wild goose chase that things changed in the production, that this doesn't count and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah. That's kind of one of my hopes for whatever comes next in Star Wars, is because we're I assume going to be dealing with like a new setting and new characters and whatnot, that maybe they don't play things so close to the chest. And if they decide to do tie-in stuff like that, that they can be a little more open with it, if that makes sense. Because why be super secretive if we're going into a whole new unexplored area of Star Wars? In fact, I think you would want to do the opposite, where you're more open so people ahead of time can sort of get in the mindset of what they have in store.
That would be good.
Yeah, right. You know, like, let's say, hypothetically, the new Star Wars trilogy or whatever that's going to start in 2023 is set hundreds of years before or after the Skywalker saga. Either one. Like, I think, I don't know, a year before the movie comes out, you start releasing books or games or anything set in that time period to sort of help you become familiarized with the setting, the characters, the important historical events, and things like that. And I think that, you know, like with the sequel trilogy, I think you were in a situation where they wanted to play it a little more guarded, because they had J.J. Abrams involved, and that's kind of his deal. He likes to be, super secret.
What happened to him as a child?
I don't know, man. What happened was he told somebody something in confidence, and then they went and told the entire school. And he was like, I'm never letting secrets out again.
He was like, I met Steven Spielberg at a bar mitzvah. And, oh no, that was Alden Ehrenreich. I was thinking of how, because I knew they were mentor, you know, they sort of had a relationship. But the story about meeting someone at the bar mitzvah was Alden Ehrenreich. Whose surname I now have to struggle with again.
Yeah. Crazy to think that had Solo done better, we'd probably be talking about the next movie in that series by now.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it would probably, it's interesting because it probably would have been scheduled for this year, and we would be in one of those positions where we're like, is it coming out in theaters? What are they going to do? They should put it directly to VOD. Like,
well, I was talking about that on the Patreon Q&A the other day, and it's like, thank God.
mm-hmm.
I don't need to add that speculation to my 2020 list.
Yeah, I've talked about it with Josh Chapman on his podcast, Star Wars Spelt Out, and with Will a couple of times on Blue Harvest. Like, for once, it seems like we got, quote unquote, of course, not like, you know, quotation marks around this, lucky with Star Wars in this situation, because we're not left wondering, like, what are they going to do? You know, granted, the next movie did get delayed by a year, but, you know, we're not sitting around wondering, like, am I going to have to risk my health to go see the Star Wars movie in theaters? Or what's going on with all this stuff? Like, The Mandalorian finished filming, so that's seemingly coming out on time.
Oh, every time I think about that, I'm just overjoyed. I'm like,
right?
Every Friday for 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get to watch like my favorite thing.
Yes, I can't wait, dude. I can't wait until They start coming out on Fridays, and I stay up way too late to watch the episodes because they end up hitting at like 2 a.m. where I live, and then texting people the next morning, being super vague, being like, "Did you see the new episode?"
Texting people.
Steele. And King Tom, and Chris Fresh, and Will.
Make me think
Buddy,
I'm
I
special,
pester.
buddy.
Well, I usually pester you first. How's that?
Thanks, buddy. Was it the first episode that you texted me, you need to call me after you've seen this or something?
No, that was the Tatooine episode.
Because you knew I'd love Toro.
Yeah, that and the feet at the end, and Tatooine. Like, yeah, I think that had to be the one.
Those
where I was
Adidas
like,
sneakers.
oh man, still considering getting those, buddy.
Have you seen what they look like without the pouch?
No, that's the one thing that's holding me back. Is I need to see what they look like without the weed smuggling compartment on the shoes.
For everyone listening, you can see it if you're treating yourself on YouTube. But Adidas brought out this European exclusive, so I hope there's a way to get them. Star Wars, like sort of Adidas, they're sort of like Forum high tops or something, but in a green Boba Fett colorway they've even got little metal scrapes off them, and they come in a really cool collector's box as well.
Mm-hmm. And buddy, I've been in the market for some new Adidas, specifically that color. I was just going to get some like Sambas that color if they existed, but I couldn't find them.
My tie-in shoe of the year, Hawes, is Vans. Just did a collaboration with The Simpsons.
They're very good.
Did you see the Bart Simpson ones?
Mm-hmm.
So that shoe is the Chucker Boot. And I have loved that Vans sneaker from the moment I saw them in 1988. We saw a pro skateboarder called Neil Blender, a legendary skateboarder in the 80s. Wore them at this giant demo with Krishna Zoy and Tony Hawk. And we called them library Vans because they look like Vans you'd wear to the library. And ever since, I have loved them. And they're very hard to get. They rarely produce them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you can't... Like, I've got a shop with a Vans account, and I can't order... Like, they don't make them.
Mm.
But they've done this special edition, like, blue suede version with a little sort of like a Converse badge on the inner, which they don't normally have on the inner heel. Instead of a star, there's Bart's skull crossbones logo. And not only is it a beautiful, good use of the license, it's a pair of blue suede chuckers. So, sadly, my, in the times that we live in, collaborative sneaker purchases are not happening. But
yeah, that could be the same for me. And so, let me ask you something, Steele. I'm not a guy who buys a lot of sneakers, right? In fact, the pair of Adidas I have now, I've had since 2012 or 2013. When you're in a wheelchair, you don't put a lot of mileage on your shoes. You know what I mean? They don't wear out super fast.
How often do you have to replace your tires?
Well, I've been through like 3 wheelchairs in the last year and a half because I got a couple of shitty ones. So, anyways, 2 things. If I were to buy those Boba Fett Adidas, which is up in the air because of the pouch and because they're kind of pricey, not even considering that I'd probably have to get them like imported from the UK. But if I were to get them, is that the kind of thing is that a daily wear shoe or is that a special event shoe?
I reckon it's a daily wear. It's very subtle without the bag. Oh, so they're high tops and they've got this little pouch like on Boba Fett's belt. But we feel like they, and no offense to any of the people listening to this wearing pouch sneakers as we speak, but no buys. So we were hoping that has to be removable.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not like a rivet or a stud that holds them on or something that would be super obvious if you took it off. I haven't been able to find any information on if it can be removed and what it looks like if they're removed.
The only thing that would make them good is if when you opened it up, there was a little like water sock that when you were going through the rain, you would pull out this little jacket and it would go over the shoe. I love that stuff.
Oh, man. Okay, and then secondly, fancy sneaker upkeep. Like, how does one upkeep a pair of fancy sneakers? Because I've never had, like, fancy shoes. Like I said, my favorite shoe is the Adidas Samba, which are like, what are you, like low tops, right? Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
And I stopped getting them because I actually sort of prefer high tops for the support that they give my ankles and my feet. So I've been wearing Adidas high tops since 2012, like I was saying. But I've never really had a pair that I was like worried about getting messed up. How does one upkeep a pair of sneakers of that quality?
Well, you might be asking the wrong person. I just sort of wipe them clean with like a wet wipe now and then.
Right.
But I know in our store we cover this. We carry this American brand called Jason Mark, and I believe the Mark is spelt with 2 Ks, and he specializes in sneaker cleaning and protective wipes and brushes and solutions, sprays, such and such.
Uh-huh.
So I would check into that. It's not that expensive, but I think you know, I'm sure there's other stuff, maybe regular shoe care stuff, but that I would check out that, Hawes, if you wanted to look after your Boba Fett Adidas.
Yeah, this is a big if. Like, if they weren't that color green, I don't know that I would be as intrigued by them. But it's the literal color shoe by the brand I was looking for.
I don't know how hard it would be to get here. You'd have to, like, it might be one of those things that is just so impossible to get.
Yeah, that's also kind of what I'm wondering. If I try to even get on their UK web store and order them, if they would ship to the United States, is that something that's going to sell out in a matter of seconds? And
yeah, like
it
could be one of those lineup shoes. You know,
mm-hmm.
Each shop just gets 12, but we will update you on Hawes' feet. Will Hawes have the feet of Boba Fett that are also the feet hinted at in The Mandalorian, Episode 5, The Gunslinger?
I sure hope so.
Cincinnati Pops.
Buddy.
Oh, sorry.
Buddy, we're skipping something real important. I hate to do it.
It's an also. It's an also.
Oh, we're saving it to the end. My bad. I'm very excited for it. So, Cincinnati Pops.
May 31. The Cincinnati Pops Orchestra presents the first annual John Williams Star Wars Festival. The event is co-sponsored by Kenner Products, which is based in Cincinnati. According to the poster's fine print, juggling, bullwhip demonstrations, mime performance, and star shows are part of the program for this one-night concert conducted by Erich Kunzel, despite the concert's promotion as an annual event, it is the only John Williams Star Wars festival to date. God, there's a little bit of salt in that listing. Now, Hawes, did that event sound like, at the first thing you heard of it, sound like the best thing ever, and with each bit of additional information get worse and worse?
Got weirder and weirder. Juggling, bullwhip demonstrations, mime performances, and star shows, which I'm not even exactly sure what a star show is.
Dare to dream. After it got co-sponsored by Kenner Products, it was all downhill from there. Oh my stars. That's something, if they announced it now and it was like near me, I'd be like, as it was playing like on the podcast, I'd be logging on to the ticket site, entering all my information. And then it just got to the end bit. I'm like, I might see if I can get a promo pass or something.
Juggling.
But it does feature, like, is it official? Is like, there is a picture of Darth Vader on the poster doing a Shaka bra, by the looks of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, down in the corner, there's a little credit, but
I can't. It's too small. I can't read it.
like, it could be something LFL 1980. But, you know, I'm just staring at blurs. Like, Star Wars, this is a bit of a tell. Star Wars isn't in the Star Wars font.
Mm-mm.
But Kenner sponsored it.
Yeah, so it had to be somewhat official, I would imagine. Or maybe that's why there wasn't a second annual Star Wars festival.
They Kenner go up to see like the production pictures of Jedi to start making figures, and it's like, oh guys, bit hung. We just flew in. We went to our Star Wars festival last night. What? Yeah, the Star Wars festival. Yeah, we co-sponsored it. Yeah. Oh, you know, like bullwhip performances, star shows. You should come up for the next one. They're going to do it annually. And thus concluded. This is a pretty big one in June, Hawes, if you want to give us a rip through.
THX Sound. Lucasfilm launches the THX sound system, a unique configuration of loudspeakers originally integrated with the room acoustics of the Sprocket System's dubbing stage, but intended for cinema use. THX addresses problems such as interfering noise from adjacent theaters and the street, and marks the most significant improvement to cinema loudspeakers since World War II.
Which was the battle for subwoofers.
Yeah. And I feel like just reading that, I can hear that THX sound.
Oh, of course. And whenever you hear the THX noise, you know what you got to yell. Turn it up! That episode of The Simpsons. That was great.
You know, Lucasfilm sued Dr. Dre.
For the Chronic 2001, buddy. Of course I know it.
Yep.
You don't reckon I know my Dr. Dre Star Wars references?
I was just making... I figured you knew, but we got people watching the enhanced version on YouTube.
Things just ain't the same for gangsters. Which I believe was the song after that noise.
And I think he lost.
Yeah, he lost.
1.5 million.
Look at him now. Hip-hop billionaire.
Yeah. He was like, well, fine. I'm going to make headphones.
And now people listen to that noise through his headphones. That made him $1 billion. This is what I mean about pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
It was just one of those things. You'd read the Lucasfilm fan club magazine, which evolved into the Star Wars Insider. They're always going on about their THX.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, my dream as, you know, like in my 20s was like, oh, imagine having like a THX cinema system set up.
Oh, for real.
Which apparently is just sort of like paying at the time twice as much as any other cinema system.
Mm-hmm.
Because it had this THX, like, and my, like, I'm no Struthers. It all sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, I can tell the difference between a really good system and sort of a middling one, but there is a point where it becomes just sort of louder with extra speakers. Like, have you ever, I'm sure you have you ever been in a theater or something with one of those Dolby Atmos setups?
I feel like I have, but I can't remember anything about it.
Yeah, those are pretty impressive. Those are the ones that have sort of the spatial speakers built into the ceiling and walls and stuff.
Oof. Now, I almost fear to read this one because I'm a very scared person. Oh my God, I do actually have to talk about on that Blue Harvest episode where you squealed.
Oh, God.
When Jesse came into the room.
Yeah, man.
Like, I have to get the timestamp because I've told Jackie about it like 3 times. I was like, it scared me as well. But the pitch that you hit, Hawes, you must have a beautiful singing voice.
I've been told it sounded like 3 consecutive Homer Simpson screams.
I reckon it was like 3 consecutive Homer Simpson screams if Yardley Smith was doing a Homer impression.
Nice.
Poltergeist, June 4th. Poltergeist, produced and co-written by Steven Spielberg, is released. A family is terrorized by supernatural forces in their own home. Spielberg ensures that kids' bedrooms are decorated with Star Wars toys and posters.
That George and Steve friendship living on, buddy.
But I have to say, in the 80s, we were so starved for Star Wars content. If you put a Star Wars poster or a toy in a movie or a TV show, it somehow became part of canon.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I remember Arnold Jackson of Different Strokes fame. What you talking about, Willis? He had a Millennium Falcon in his room. And every episode when he went into his bedroom, and because he was like, he'd moved in with his millionaire benefactor or whatever, friend of the family, that to me signified what being a millionaire was owning the Kenner Millennium Falcon.
Oh, we're going to talk about another movie in a couple of segments that also has a good Star Wars.
Oh, yes, we are. Oh, we are. And I just paused for a second because I started thinking about that girl with her hands up against the TV in Poltergeist, and I got a bit scared.
They're here.
Oh!
So was Poltergeist, you always hear that, was it Poltergeist or Temple of Doom were the movies that sort of ushered in the creation of the PG-13 rating? Isn't that right?
I don't know, because we had different ratings in Australia.
Oh, that's true.
It sounds right-ish. But horrifying film.
That clown doll, man, freaks me out.
Don't even say clown doll on this. Don't do
now
it.
you gotta go look up a picture to put it on the enhanced version.
Oh, you dick. Because when you said, now you have to look up a picture, I forgot about the enhanced version, which is hard to do because it is such a quality product. But I was like, I thought you were just saying, oh, you're going to have to look it up now. You won't be able to resist. And I was like, yeah, I can resist.
Oh, yeah.
I can resist. Yeah. But I can't resist is a good image reference for the enhanced version.
Yep. Look at it on the screen right now.
Damn you. I'm going to zoom it in. And then when you watch, it'll come back to haunt you.
Okay. All right. I'll be screaming again.
You'll be like watching this just thinking, checkmate, Saunders. Checkmate. All right, hit us with the next one, Hawes.
June 4th, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is released. Directed by Nicholas Meyer. The subtitle was originally The Revenge of Khan, but was changed to avoid confusion with Revenge of the Jedi. ILM works with Lucasfilm's computer division, headed by Ed Catmull, to produce the Genesis sequence, the first fully computer-generated animated sequence ever put into a feature film.
You gotta respect Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, for its Seinfeld reference.
It's a solid sci-fi movie. I'm not the biggest Star Trek guy, but that's a pretty good one.
Is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan the one where they have to put their arm in the log and there's like poisonous things in some of them?
I can't remember.
It's like some sort of tribal test of worthiness or something. And there was something in there that would spike you if you put your hand in the wrong hole.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember there being like a thing with worms that would go in people's ears or something.
I remember oh God, yes, no, Hawes.
Look it up.
The worm. Didn't like Chekhov get the worm or something?
Somebody did, and then they put it in an aquarium. Like I remember seeing the worm in the aquarium in a bit of sand.
Oh my stars. Oh, gross. Khan. Of course, J.J. Abrams famously kept Khan secret for some bizarre reason.
And he did such a good job with it, and everybody was really stoked with it. So, worked out in the end.
A lot of good films came out in 1982.
They did, and when you consider that Poltergeist and this next movie came out a week apart, it's crazy. Like, that is 2 back-to-back hits for Steven Spielberg. Because while he's not credited as the director of Poltergeist, there's a lot of sort of behind-the-scenes stories about how he was sort of a ghost director, no pun intended, on that movie. Much in the way people say, you know, George...
Jesse should do a podcast about it.
George sort of ghost-directed... Return of the Jedi.
God, that was the trend with the boys back then.
Mm-hmm.
Let's boss someone else around.
Yeah, and I believe, a little bit of trivia, the director of Poltergeist was Tobe Hooper.
Hoops!
And he was, Tobe Hooper, was the director of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, you're killing me.
Leatherface!
Oh! These Google searches, Hawes.
Yeah.
At this point, you're just trolling. Let's just mention Carl for a little bit.
Okay.
Let's get some Carl in there. And then back to Leatherface!
Did Carl, he know his way
Leatherface!
Did Carl know his way around a set of McDonald's buns?
Boy, did he ever. The way that Leatherface dude shut that door at the end of the hallway.
Yep.
Terrifying.
Yep.
My parents were pretty good at keeping an eye over me and making sure I do things appropriate for my age. But boy, did they drop the ball on the old Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Somehow that one slipped through.
Jeez.
Somehow Leatherface has returned.
Oh. What were they thinking? But Said mother also took me to see this on Christmas Eve from memory.
Nice.
Which means she really took her time, or it really took its time getting to Australia, which would not be surprising. But on June 11th, 1982, one of the true great films. Perfect, untouchable, don't step to it. E.T., the Extraterrestrial, is released. Directed by Steven Spielberg and with a screenplay by Melissa Matheson, the movie features music by John Williams and a spaceship designed by Ralph McQuarrie. Star Wars should start borrowing rejected E.T. McQuarrie stuff if they can. Get your hat pointing in that direction, Filoni. In E.T., a young boy shows off his collection of Star Wars action figures. Who could forget? Greedo getting name-checked in a film.
Yep.
And of course, I'm sure you would have been giving Elliot a high five.
Boba Fett.
Talking up a bit of Boba Fett. He shows off his collection of Star Wars action figures, and Williams incorporates a snippet of Yoda's theme music when an extra wearing an off-the-rack Yoda costume appears in a Halloween sequence. Is that not one of the best film crossovers ever? When E.T. marks out for the Yoda costume. Thinks it's his old mate.
Yep.
Back from the Senate on Coruscant.
And then, exactly. And then the payoff years later, 17 years later, when George put E.T.'s species in the Senate and the Phantom Menace. So good.
It's like poetry. It rhymes. A scene featuring Harrison Ford as a school principal is deleted because Spielberg realizes audiences will find the increasingly famous Ford too distracting. And who wouldn't be distracted by Harrison Ford?
I mean, I still would have liked to see that in the movie, though.
I don't know if I've seen the deleted scene of that. Have you?
I don't think I have either.
Interesting. I know back home, I wonder if I brought it with me, but I did have quite an elaborate, 40th anniversary or 35th anniversary sort of multi-disc DVD. Not Blu-ray, DVD. I wonder if that's on there. Or even, have you ever been to this YouTube website?
Once or twice. In fact, I think this might be enhanced on there right now. We're really pushing the enhanced version of this. I like it.
Yeah. Some real diverse opinions over on that thing. Some stuff.
Yeah, it's real shitty ones.
Oof. I can't say enough about E.T. It is I feel like that, Back to the Future, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, just
Beastmaster.
Oh,
Bloodsport.
Mortal Kombat.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Is that the Dream Warriors?
It is, my man.
Come on. It's a regular schmodown going on over here. I don't think I've talked about this to you on the podcast. I went to Elliot's house.
Oh, you haven't, but I saw the Instagram post, and it was very cool.
So, as part of our just needing things to do that are safe and legal, we did a few pilgrimages around to go see things from movies and stuff, and we went to out into the valley, and we went to Elliot's house, and it just hit me when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, they get a photo of me bombing the driveway on my skateboard, where that evil tube went down.
Yep.
So I got this great photo of me going down there, just thrilled. That was really cool. But the thing that really got the gooses bumping was we went to the exact bit of road where the bikes take off.
Oh, perfect.
That to me, that's like going to the branch where Pablo blew the horn. Like, it made me so happy to be there where that thing happened. Because I can't... There's no way I could just watch that scene on a YouTube clip on my phone and I'd be crying.
Yeah, man.
It is the best. So to stand on that bit of bitumen was...
You've really knocked off some bucket list movie locations in the last few years. Pretty jealous of that. And the fact that you used to live close to the house from Nightmare on Elm Street, very jealous.
Yeah, I don't know if that's that good. I don't know
Well,
how close you want. I don't know how close you want to live to that house.
I would, buddy.
Get this. So that house is pretty close to us still. And it's actually just the next street over from Jackie's work. Can you hear that copter?
No.
California love.
No.
That chopper is going crazy. God, these directional mics are amazing. Yeah, so Nightmare on Elm Street house is the street over from Jackie's work. And technically, is it the street over from this street? Like, the streets in LA are so long, but I think it ends up being the street next to it. But anyway, I was telling my neighbor, Flo, about how we went to the ET house and we went to the bit where the bikes took off. He is actually a giant Knight Rider fan and has a big Kit tattoo.
Nice.
So I said, oh, yeah, we're going to like work on, going to find other things. Like we haven't gone yet, but we're going to go to Marty McFly's house. And I want to skateboard out of the driveway of the Burger King that Marty McFly hangs onto the back of a truck on.
Okay.
Like, that Burger
Perfect.
King is actually next to the Toys R Us where everyone used to go in LA for the Midnight Madness thing, Force Friday or whatever. And so I was telling him about that. And I said, oh, there's places all over, like just up the road, like the Nightmare on Elm Street house. And he's like, he's German. He's like, yeah, I know. We used to live in the flat out the back. I was like, what?
I'm so jealous.
Dude, have you not seen Wes Craven's New Nightmare?
I have, and it's awful.
Dude, Wes Craven's New Nightmare depicts that in the movie, the Nightmare on Elm Street films are films. And it's about, like, Robert Englund, Mark Hamill's mate,
Cape.
that told him about the role. And he actually is haunted by Freddy Krueger. And then Wes Craven says, oh, yeah, he came to me in a dream.
Yeah, he's a demon who's taken the form of Freddy in the real world.
So I would not be... That's why I'm saying you don't want to live too close. But living in the backyard. So no buys. E.T., however, a lot of buys.
Yeah. Yeah, you could live in that garage in the backyard of that house where he finds, E.T. for the first time.
I wonder how often the people that live in that house think about that they live in the E.T. house. Like, do they go months without even it, like, clicking with them? Or is it a daily thing? Or are there idiots like me hanging around their property night and day?
I think it's probably more common than you would imagine. I wouldn't be able to not think about it.
Be looking out the back, leaving M&Ms everywhere. Were they M&Ms or Skittles?
No, Reese's Pieces.
Ah, damn it. Damn it all. Man, what is happening in June of 1982?
Another banger of a movie is what's happening.
Poltergeist, The Wrath of Khan, E.T.
All in the same month. Blade Runner is released on June 25th. Directed by Ridley Scott and starring Harrison Ford and Rutger Hauer, the science fiction film employs designer Sid Mead as visual futurist and features special photographic effects supervised by Douglas Trumbull. Visual effects include a miniature cityscape with a skyscraper made from a cannibalized Millennium Falcon model provided by ILM model maker Bill George. Actor Kevin Thompson plays an animatronic teddy bear and will subsequently appear as an Ewok in Jedi.
Big month.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're hanging out for this Revenge of the Jedi, they're keeping you busy.
Yeah, they are.
I've there's a few Blade Runner spots that you can visit in LA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the that scene towards, I think it's like the big conclusion, but when they're sort of battling on those stairs in that old building, that's like an old hotel in downtown LA, and it's sort of like a tourist attraction, and you can go in and go up a few levels, and like it's like a very historical building. But then they also do have a few photos from Blade Runner. So that's cool. And also Union Station is what is Harrison Ford?
He's a Blade Runner.
Ah, well, their offices is
Where
Union Station.
at the beginning when they come and pick him up and take him to see like the chief.
Yes. So every time I would get the train to Comic-Con, I would go through a little virtual Blade Runner exhibit.
Nice.
God, I miss going to Comic-Con.
Yeah, I'd like to go for the first time.
I get hungry. There are these, what are those, like, pastry sort of hot dog pretzel places that are in train stations? It's a big chain. I can't remember what it's called. But they sell this hot dog wrapped in a pastry with cheese, and it's, I used to treat myself to that life-shortening treat each year on the train.
Is it a kolache? Is that what it's called?
I have no idea. I feel like it's just called like wrapped hot dog or something.
Okay. Easy enough.
But they've actually got a version of it at Trader Joe's, so I might treat myself. Maybe for this weekend, I'll pretend I'm getting the train to Celebration, which I could have done. Yes, I can get them. There you go.
There you go.
Bang. Blade Runner I always found was one of those films when you were young, you're like, come on, just be more like Star Wars. Do more.
Yep.
Come on. Please.
Yeah, it took me a while to really appreciate Blade Runner.
It's pretty amazing. That new one was great as well.
Oh, I just recently did a double feature
Woof.
of both of them while I was working a couple of weeks ago, and man, both of those are good movies. I actually might think the second one is better.
It's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison doesn't come in till like halfway, not until they get to Vegas. Is that right?
It seems like it may even be later than halfway. He's really not in it that much.
Yeah, so when he does get into it, you're like, oh, like it's like a whole new movie. Like it's like my flower bloomed again.
Yeah, it's really good.
Good stuff. Then, as we wrap up a pretty huge June, we've got some Imperial Radio. The Empire Strikes Back radio dramatization, scripted by Brian Daley and directed by John Madden, is recorded over 10 days in a New York City studio. Frank Oz is unavailable to perform as Yoda. And Mark Hamill, who had previously demonstrated his ability to mimic Yoda on The Muppet Show, is briefly considered to voice the aged Jedi Master as well as Luke Skywalker. The role eventually goes to John Lithgow after he demonstrates his own ability to mimic Yoda to Madden, who had directed him earlier in that year in Christopher Durang's Broadway play Beyond Therapy. Now, I always marvel at Mark Hamill's acting ability to make Yoda, like, because Luke Skywalker buys into it so much.
Right.
You never question. Like, it's just Yoda, the alien, the Jedi Master Yoda. There's no question. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then when you think about it, it's like, oh my God, he was on this stage acting to a puppet for like 3 months or something. And it's like, that must be going bonkers. Then, to then add in, he's doing both voices?
Yeah. Well,
know.
I mean, and this would big time pay off for him in the future because, you know, he's really well known for his voice acting.
But then he could have done all the Yoda roles as well. Like, you'd be like, you know, for the Clone Wars, you got to get Hamill in to do Yoda.
Poor Tom Kane out of a job.
Are you into the comic voices?
What do you mean?
Like at conventions and stuff. I've seen Tom Kane, and it's always weird. Like, he's sort of like sometimes on one of those, I don't know, just these tables, and it's like, it's weird. Yoda, he voiced Yoda. He's just sitting over there waiting for people to come up.
For some of them, I can kind of see it. What's always weird to me is seeing the people, like footage of them doing the voices in studio. Like I remember the first time I saw it was Mike Judge doing the voices of Beavis and Butthead. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't like that. I don't like seeing behind the curtain like that for some reason. And like how he would contort and change his face to do the different voices. So sometimes that throws me off a little bit.
The weird thing about voices, Bart Simpson, Nancy Cartwright.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being quite shocked to find out that Bart Simpson was a girl. And then just never thought about it ever again. Like, I've never watched The Simpsons and thought, that's a girl.
Yeah, me neither.
I find watching The Simpsons people do the voices quite charming.
I don't know that I've seen
Do the voice, Bart! You've never seen it? Sorry.
I don't think I've really seen much footage of that cast doing the voices. I've definitely seen interviews or something where they try to get them to do it. And, you know, the lady who does Lisa's voice, like, her actual voice doesn't sound that much different.
Yeah, well, she was in Herman's Head.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh, there's Lisa Simpson.
Yep.
Now, Hawes, shall we sizzle? Shall we do the also ins? Because across the page, we're at the end of our double page spread, which normally takes up about 2 hours. This day is no different. Across the page, we've got 2 masks that we can talk about. Should we do them before or after the also-ins?
Yeah, let's do the masks real quick. We'll jump on the also ins, and then we need that lost feedback before we wrap it up.
Great stuff. So across the page, it's a an off-format double-page spread of 2 masks. You've got on one page a very detailed photo of the Klaatu mask and shoulder area, and then you've got a side angle of a Mon Calamari mask. Now, I don't know if I don't want to come off as Calamari-esque, but that's Admiral Akbar, yeah? They don't like.
I think so.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was like another one, and it's got different blemishes on the crown. God, when you look at this head sideways, there's he looks like he's got a lot of like gilly areas. There's a lot
going on.
There's a lot of flaps that you just like. Is that open up into his brain, or is that like, does he eat through there? There's like, I guess that's his ear behind his eye, but it's like a little suction cup thing.
Mm-hmm. It really shows you like how much they progressed the alien face masks in between Star Wars and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Because those are super detailed compared to like, the Cantina Band or Greedo or something. Love those guys. Love, the Biths and Greedo, but man, these are a step above that.
Now, you're reading your Starlog magazine, Hawes.
Mm-hmm.
And as a sizzle, Richard Marquand has released to the good people at Starlog 2 photos of some upcoming new aliens. And they are these photos. Klaatu, who is one of Jabba's henchmen. Green, spiky face. Lizardish. And then you've got the lobster-themed Admiral Akbar. You know the character's name's Klaatu. You know the lobster man, his name is Admiral Akbar. What sort of role do you think Klaatu could play in this Revenge of the Jedi?
I don't know, because as more recent experience shows, I'm not good at figuring out, like, when they do the behind-the-scenes pictures, figuring out how central a role any of these characters will play, because when they released that first sort of group shot of all the aliens in Maz's castle, I definitely overestimated how much we'd be seeing them or how much they'd be doing.
I would, especially after watching The Last Starfighter, because he looks a bit like one of those characters. Mm-hmm. I would say he's a noble ally of the Rebel Alliance.
Klaatu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you reckon he looks like he's standing up for what's right? He's stern, but he's fair.
Okay, I can see it.
Admiral Akbar. I don't know. If I'd think maybe he's part of like some evil lobster race.
Well, the fact that he had like Admiral in his name, and before that, we have a lot of Imperials with that title. Like, that would make me wonder as a kid if he was an Imperial, maybe. Which would have been weird because we never saw any aliens as Imperials.
Great masks, though.
Great.
All right. Hawes.
Yes, sir.
Bounty hunters. You love them. I'm gonna handball in you. This also in 1982.
Zuckuss and Forlom. After Kenner gave the name Dengar to the bounty hunter that Lucasfilm had previously designated Zuckuss,
oh my God,
Kenner uses the latter name for another hunter, the one who appears in Empire as a rifle-wielding humanoid droid. Unfortunately, Lucas has already named that character Forlom,
Oh,
a semi-acronym for love of money. As Empire's other bounty hunters already have been wait, hold on. As Empire's other bounty hunters, Boba Fett, IG-88, and Bosk have already been released as action figures, Kenner gives the name Forlom to the robed figure with the insectoid head.
all right. I didn't realize that this. I thought these were just two names that were printed the wrong way.
No, it's Kenner shuffling stuff around like
No, but
crazy.
this is a tangled web through all the bounty. So okay. So Kenner gave the name Dengar
To who
to Zuckuss.
Lucasfilm named Zuckuss.
Wait. After Kenner gave the name Dengar to the bounty hunter. Oh, so they called Zuckuss, who's actually Forlom. They called him Dengar. Have I got
No.
that right?
No. Okay, so the guy with the bandage on his head, Lucasfilm said his character's name is Zuckuss, but Kenner gave him the name Dengar. And so they had a free-floating name out there, Zuckuss. So they assigned Zuckuss to the droid, who Lucasfilm had said was Forlom. So they took that name and gave it to who we now know as Zuckuss.
Okay. So they call Dengar Zuckuss.
Lucasfilm did. And then Kenner said, nah, his name's not Zuckuss, his name is Dengar.
Then. So Zuckuss is now up for grabs.
Yes.
Kenner uses the latter name for another hunter, the one who appears in the Empire with a rifle. Okay, so then they call Forlom Zuckuss.
Mm-hmm. And then Zuckuss Forlom.
Oh my god. This feels like Lost Season 5, to be honest. Wow. The front of my head actually hurts now.
Yeah, it's tangled.
Also in 1982, pay-per-view. Star Wars begins airing on pay-per-view television subscription services across the US. Long used in remote areas, cable TV and subscription services have existed since the late 1940s. But fewer than 500,000 people or households are wired for cable. View magazine offers a cover feature on the TV premiere of Star Wars. It doesn't say what it premieres on. I believe it was HBO. Am I right there?
Well, actually, so if it's pay-per-view television, that would be kind of like a pay-per-view rental. Did you ever do one of those? Like, I remember when I was a kid convincing my parents to get a pay-per-view movie one time, and they had to call the cable company and purchase it. So it would be added to the cable bill, and then we could watch it on a special pay-per-view channel. This was before like on-demand digital cable.
I did do it with the good people at the World Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, so I think that's what it was a service like that, and then later went to HBO.
Got you. Home box office. So it would have been one of those things where you pay to watch it, but you have to watch it at that time. Like the pay-per-view is like a live event.
Yeah, so you would buy a pay-per-view for like 7:00 or something, and then at 7:00 you tune into the specific pay-per-view channel, and your movie's playing.
Do you know if it was like Saturday night on pay-per-view, or was it like, hey, it's Wednesday, there's one at 10:30?
I think it was more like that, at least from my experience as a kid renting Universal Soldier on pay-per-view.
Yeah, but the technology would have advanced somewhat.
For sure, but it was like, they got the 8 o'clock pay-per-view of Universal Soldier, and we had to tune in, on channel 70 or something.
Sweet action. You hitting record before that one starts, Hawes?
Oh, buddy, did I. Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren in a movie together? Of course I'm recording that. Oh, no. The FBI is here.
So?
We're going to need that extended play tape.
Great stuff. Alrighty, so that will bring us to the end of our Star Wars history coverage. And, Hawes, go over to page 104 and just look.
I know.
Jeez.
Ooh, there's some good stuff coming.
Oh, my stars. Great stuff. Great stuff. So, last episode, exclusively for our Patreon supporters, it was a flash forward, all lost finale episode where we reflected on the series as if it had just concluded, and of course talked about its Star Wars references, etc. But a lot of theorizing. Now, there was one thing that you brought up that I took as lost canon.
Okay.
And then after my ever dubious wife, Jacqueline, said, you should look that one up, I think. That Jack became the smoke monster.
Yeah, he totally did.
But do you take that as canon or theory?
I mean, I've never heard them be like, yeah, Jack's the smoke monster, but all the signs point to that being canon.
But I have heard them say that Jack died at that moment. At the end.
Right. But so did the Man in Black. He died and became the smoke monster.
Did he die?
Yeah. Yeah. In the physical sense, he died.
All right, that's it, mate. I'm Googling this. This is a live Google. Let's come to this. Jack. Smoke. Monster. All right. Should we go for here? Lostpedia fandom. This is like the same place that owns Wikipedia. Okay, here we go. Death. Jack becomes a monster after death. It is heavily implied that Jack dies when his eyes close in the final shot. But this may not be the end of his life on Earth. In Across the Sea, the Man in Black also travels into the source suffering from wounds. He takes on the form of the smoke monster and pours out of the cave, carrying his body with him. Like Jack, his body is found in the bamboo grove, lacking any other explanation for Jack's exit from the cave. It seems likely that Jack is now a smoke monster. But then, there is an opposing view. Jack did not become the monster. Two brothers, the Man in Black and Jacob, were not allowed to go into the heart because the smoke monster lived in there and sought a human host.
I don't know about that.
Jacob killed his brother and fed the smoke monster the body by accident. This gave the smoke a form to use so he could escape. Jacob's brother died, but the monster merely used his body.
Nah, because their mom Was the smoke monster before. She was the protector of the island before. And when
Yeah,
she shows them the source or whatever that cave is, she doesn't say you can't go in there because something evil lives in there. She says there's a light in there, and that light is something that we all have inside of us and everybody wants more of. So it's clearly that she doesn't want them going into that pool and messing with the light at the center of the island.
okay. It says Jack killed the monster. It didn't assume Jack's form after the latter's death because Jack had already killed it. Well, see, that sort of... There's two... Like, is the smoke monster a separate... Like, is it like a... What's it called? Venom? Or is the smoke monster a form that someone takes?
Right.
Which I feel like it's a
so.
form that someone takes due to the mother also being a smoke monster.
Right.
Is the mother being a smoke monster canon?
Once again, they never pointed out, hey, she was a smoke monster, but all signs to me point to yes. Because of how she destroys that village in a very smoke monstery way.
Yeah, true.
And that doesn't seem like she just ran up in there without some sort of superpowers, you know?
And it says, Damon and Carlton said it is very likely that the cork was built after the Man in Black's transformation. Therefore, the open hole without something to keep the darkness in, according to Jacob's metaphor, caused the Man in Black's change into the smoke monster. The cork was built to prevent this from happening again. And since Jack put it back in its place, he would not turn into a smoke monster. So, I think that is where maybe the official story changes from your theory, Hawes. How do you feel about this?
I don't see how the cork, to me, the cork not being there or being there before or after the smoke monster, before or after the Man in Black becomes the smoke monster, doesn't negate the fact that there was a smoke monster who was a protector of the island before the Man in Black became the smoke monster. Because they even say it in the show, like it's a security system. The smoke is.
Interesting. All right. There's this other little thing here that's interesting. Healing powers. It's
Yeah.
possible that Jacob gave Jack a supernatural ability to heal people that Jack doesn't even know he has. We see several examples of Jack healing people who shouldn't be able to be healed. Jack healed Sarah, who made a full recovery. Jack was able to revive Charlie after a very extended period of unconsciousness. That doesn't really count as a reason because I've seen people do that in several different J.J. Abrams movies.
Yeah.
And he successfully removed Ben's tumour. It is also possible that in order for someone to die on Jack, they have to choose to let go, whether consciously or subconsciously. For example, Jack was going to amputate Boone's leg. When Boone chose to stop him and accepted his death, Boone might have lived through the amputation had he not chosen to die.
All right. See, this is just making me feel more confident about the Jack smoke monster thing.
Yeah, I think that one's might be looking a bit too closely. As we are always sometimes prone to do. What were your lost thoughts that you had that you wanted to follow up on?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, okay. I thought you mentioned that you had some. You're just keen to get into it.
Yeah.
I miss them.
I miss them too, buddy.
I miss them. What about Watchmen? Have you seen that?
We saw the first couple of episodes, but need to go back and watch through it all for sure.
Worth it.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear it's excellent.
We had watched a couple of episodes and then like Jackie sort of found it a bit too violent or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just want to be chilling out.
Entertained. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's some pretty, real world dark themes in it.
Oh, for sure.
And, but then something sparked her and she's like, oh, we've got to watch it. So we did it right. Some would argue we didn't. but we did. We watched the Zack Snyder Watchmen, the Blue Dick Chronicles, which when I've watched Watchmen, like explanation YouTubes and stuff, and this is good for this, when I put together the enhanced thing, you got to pixelate that blue dick.
Yeah, buddy.
If you haven't seen The Watchmen, what's he called? Dr. Manhattan.
Yes.
This giant supernatural character walks around. He's blue glowing and he walks around naked.
And that dick is a swinging.
Woo!
You know, every time you say blue dick, you should just put up Masamita. Because he's a blue dick.
Hey, mate, no one wants a backseat enhancer. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
So we watched that, and which is... Do you know that film very well?
I've seen it for sure. Yeah.
Do you remember the love scene?
I do. Well, Hallelujah plays.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
I saw he reused that song.
Yeah, he sure did.
Jeez. Anyway, yeah, it was a pretty interesting film, and then so I watched then a very good, I think it was Polygon or something the account was called, but sort of like a recap of how the movie is different from the comic book.
Right.
And then we watched a movie or a YouTube about how both the comic book and the movie link up to the TV series.
Okay, cool.
Which, for those that don't know, occur, I think it's like 30 years. It's like a prequel, like a sequel 30 years in the future. For sort of what Damon Lindelof imagined was happening in the Watchmen universe. And like a few characters that are, you know, like a Luke Skywalker, they come back as an older person, and then the story sort of, there's a lot of flashbacks and stuff.
Right.
But Hawes, I'm sure our listeners or viewers can suggest some, but a series that wraps so many seemingly trivial things that happen throughout the series in the finale up. It's pretty incredible.
That's what I've heard. I've heard it's very good, so I've got to check it out.
High recommendation for all those Blue Shaft fans out there, I guess.
Yeah, for real.
But very disconcerting when you watch it and then watch the news.
Yeah, pretty weird how that sort of lined up, huh?
Well, that's good storytelling. Does reflect the age that it's created in.
That's a good point.
Well, you gotta make one in 2.5 hours or so.
I know, and I've made one this one that I just repeated from last episode, and that's that Jack is a smoke monster now, and he protects the island.
It's very exciting, Hawes. Not even you know this. 20th episode. New segment. Just invented it, just then.
Uh-oh.
I call it Star Wars Year by Podcast Flash Forward. In this, with my thumb, I page to a random page.
Okay.
And tell you an image. And this one is on page 225, comic book Star Wars Jedi Quest, where it looks like a young Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think it actually might be Anakin Skywalker. No, Jedi Quest cover features an Anakin image morphed into the likeness of Jake Lloyd and Hayden Christensen. So it's a young Anakin Skywalker. And he looks to be underwater, and there's ice, and he's in a lightsaber fight with Darth Maul.
What the fuck?
Language warning.
Sorry. It took me by surprise.
Can you see it?
Yeah, it's a hallucination, it says.
Ah. What, for me or for Anakin?
I think a bit of both.
So there you go. New segment. Just a quick glimpse into the crazy world
Of Star Wars EU comics.
Alrighty, Hawes.
All right, buddy.
Brings us to the end of our, which I'm sure you've heard, this is getting mentioned. The hashtag's trending. Star Wars non-abration.
Oh, man. It's going to be big.
Woof! All part of our non-abration celebrations, which is quite a tongue twister. Soak up a bit of that sweet, sweet Blue Harvest audio bliss in the Friday evening range of time.
Yep. Every Friday night, Saturday morning, Blue Harvest with me and my buddy Will.
So check out Blue Harvest, one of the finest bits of Star Wars audio each week. My podcast is called Steele Wars, if you are a Blue Harvest listener. And we just put up this, I'm very proud of it, interview with Samantha Aline, who played...
So good.
Oh, thanks, man. Over 15 characters throughout Disney Star Wars movies, and she's just the best. She will lift your Star Wars spirits. And also follow me at Steele Wars on all social media platforms that are called Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, I guess, and Instagram. Hawes is Blue Harvest Pod. Have a great weekend. If you enjoy the show, check out our Patreon. There's 19 other back episodes along with all our bonus stuff. And we really appreciate your support. Isn't that right, Hawes?
Yes, we do.
This is the bit we scripted beforehand, I think.
Go watch Beastmaster.
Be your own Beastmaster. Master the beast within is my advice. Bang! May that force be with you.
See you, everybody.
Cool, man.
That was a long one.
Fucking oath. Don't give me a fall on and call it Dengar is what I'm saying.
For real.